Well, here's some surprisingly good news. A former Starbucks manager just won a 4-year-long legal battle against the coffee giant after they fired her to try to appease the Black Lives Matter mob after two black men were arrested for loitering in the coffee shop. When asked to either buy something or leave, they refused. So the police were called and then arrested them, and she was fired because she's white. And she did the right thing and filed a lawsuit against the chain and just won $25 million. You may recall the initial incident because the video went viral showing the police come and asking the two black men to either leave, buy something, or get arrested. And they chose the latter of the three options, of course. And then they cried about it and said that they felt that their lives were in danger. This may mark a turning point in the fight against anti-whiteism, which, as you know, is now systemic. And sure, there was racism in America's past a long time ago. In fact, Barack Obama, a black man, was elected president 15 years ago now. And just like the LGBT mafia, the once oppressed have turned into the oppressors. And so it's about time that white people start fighting back against discrimination against white people, also known as anti-whiteism. The liberal media is absolutely furious because they know that this is going to spark an awakening in white people and cause others to stand up as well. So they're trying to frame this like it was a terrible miscarriage of justice. This from the Los Angeles Times. She said Starbucks fired her because she's white. Jury agreed, awarding her $25.6 million. The correct headline should be, "White woman fired because of anti-whiteism, sues, wins $25.6 million." This is from the Cloud News Network. Starbucks says they fired her for an absence of leadership because she wasn't bowing down to Black Lives Matter, in other words. She says it was because of her race. A jury returned a $25.6 million verdict in her favor. Yeah, well, why don't you cry about it? Comedian Tyler Fisher is suing a talent agency for discriminating against him for being white. His would-be agent told him that he's not going to represent him because he's white. And that's not just his opinion. He's got it on tape. And so he says that he's not settling because, of course, that would mean that he'd have to sign a non-disparagement clause and an NDA. They just want to make it go away. And so he sued them last year. And like the Starbucks case, this will probably be caught up in court for several years. So this is something to keep an eye on. And that reminds me, I need to look into see whatever happened with this case, because back in 2018, YouTube was sued for discriminating against white and Asian males by a recruiter who was specifically told to basically throw away their resumes and not hire them because they wanted more diversity, which of course is a code word meaning less white people. Also this week, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill into law shutting down and banning the diversity, equity, and inclusion offices at public universities in the state because obviously they are anti-white. Well, I guess, and anti-Asian and heterophobic. And most major Fortune 500 companies, as most people have come to find out recently, literally have a diversity, equity, and inclusion office. It's a department. It's somebody's job. They're the head of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're the head of anti-whiteism in the Fortune 500 companies. So this backlash is only going to continue to grow, and there needs to be hundreds of lawsuits filed against companies like Dropbox. The hiring manager tweeted that she prefers non-white applicants and says that she could use less white people in her life. People need to start filing complaints against the Board of Labor and with the Justice Department because people like this are violating white people's civil rights. You probably heard that the chief of diversity, equity, and inclusion at Uber, who is an Asian woman, because no white person is going to be allowed to have that job, no matter how bad they hate their fellow white people. The Uber diversity chief was suspended. It'll be interesting to see. She'll probably get fired after she held a panel to try to convince the black employees to stop being so anti-white. and telling them that they need to stop calling their white employees Karens, because that is an anti-white slur. And so they felt that they were being targeted. They were being the ones who were harassed, so they all complained. And so she is now suspended. And if she gets fired, she better file a lawsuit and contact the Justice Department and the Labor Board. Not only do the Fortune 500 companies have their diversity, equity, and inclusion offices, but they're putting employees through mandatory diversity training, anti-white indoctrination, like Walmart, where their company's slides have been published, and they say that all white people have internalized racial superiority. AT&T has virtually the same program. They call white people the problem. And I understand that most employees can't or don't want to. They're afraid to stand up and push back against this because you may get fired. So that's where people like me come in to move the Overton window and normalize the concepts, the language, the terminology, and the arguments, and make it so widespread that it's safe for everybody else to start pushing back. LinkedIn now reportedly allows recruiters to filter job candidates by race to help them fill their diversity, their anti-white quotas. And now YouTube wants to know the race, gender identity, and sexual orientation of all YouTubers. This notification now pops up on our dashboard. It says, help make YouTube more inclusive. Help us better understand the race, ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation representation of creator and artist communities on YouTube, so that they know who to favor in the search results and in the algorithm and with notifications. So far, this is voluntary, and I should actually fill it out and just say that I'm a black, gender non-conforming illegal alien, and I bet my channel would do much better. By the way, you better order your 1776 shirt from markdice.com so you can be sure to get it in time for Independence Day. Or order your Wanted for President shirt, an Ultra MAGA shirt, or any of my awesome designs. All available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.